The Great Sabbath Cover-Up. Who changed God's law? The shocking truth. No one talks about. For centuries, the world has been told that Sunday is the day of worship. Millions of Christians gather every week believing that Sunday is God's holy day. But what if I told you that this is one of the greatest cover-ups in history? What if I told you that the Sabbath, God's law, was changed, not by God, not by Jesus, and not by the apostles, but by men? Today, we are exposing the undeniable biblical and historical truth that no skeptic or non-believer can disprove. And the challenge is simple. If the Sabbath was changed by God, show us one verse that proves it. Step 1. The Sabbath, God's unchangeable law. To understand the Sabbath cover-up, we must first establish a fact that cannot be disputed. The Sabbath is part of God's eternal law. Exodus 20:8-11. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. The seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. God wrote this law with his own finger. Exodus 31:18. The only commandment that begins with remember is the one the world has forgotten. Isaiah 58:13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day. God calls the Sabbath my holy day, not Israel's, not Moses's, but God's. Malachi 3:6. For I am the Lord, I change not. If God never changes, how could he change his law? Matthew 5:17-18. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. Jesus said that nothing in God's law would change. If the Sabbath is part of God's law, and if God never changes, then who changed the Sabbath? Because it wasn't Jesus. It wasn't the apostles. So who did it? Step 2. The Great Sabbath Cover-Up. Who changed God's law? The answer is not found in the Bible, but in history. Let's look at 3 major events that changed the Sabbath. 1. The Roman Sunday Law, 321 AD. The first major attack on the Sabbath came from Emperor Constantine. In 321 AD, he issued this decree. On the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and people residing in cities rest, and let all workshops be closed. Notice, it was not based on the Bible. It honored the venerable day of the sun, a clear reference to pagan sun worship. It was enforced by civil law, not divine command. This was the first official step in replacing the Sabbath. 2. The Church enforces the change, 364 AD. After Constantine's decree, the Church took it further. At the Council of Laodicea, 364 AD, church leaders declared, Christians must not Judaize by resting on the Sabbath, but must work on that day, rather honoring the Lord's day. If any be found to be Judaizers, let them be anathema from Christ. Translation: keeping the Sabbath was banned. Sunday worship was enforced by the Church. Those who refused were declared heretics. 3. The Catholic Church admits it changed the Sabbath. The Roman Catholic Church openly admits that it changed the Sabbath, not God, not the Bible, not Jesus. Sunday is our mark of authority. The Church is above the Bible, and this transference of Sabbath observance is proof of that fact. Catholic Record, September 1, 1923. Of course, the Catholic Church claims that the change from Sabbath to Sunday was her act, and the act is a mark of her ecclesiastical power and authority in religious matters. Letter from Cardinal Gibbons. If God never changed the Sabbath, and Jesus never changed the Sabbath, and the apostles never changed the Sabbath, then who are you following? Step 3. The challenge to skeptics and non-believers. If Sunday worship is biblical, then here's the challenge. Find one verse where God changes the Sabbath. Find one verse where Jesus replaces the Sabbath with Sunday. Find one verse where the apostles command Sunday worship. There is no such verse. The truth is clear. The Sabbath was never changed by God. The change was enforced by Rome. Sunday worship is a man-made tradition, not a biblical command. So now the question is, will you follow God's law or man's tradition?